Think you know all about Scouting America? Think again, because there are a lot of myths out there that need to be busted so that we can get families and volunteers to get involved. Hey, ScouterStan, it is amazing how many myths are out there, especially about Scouting America. Scouting America is shrouded in mystery to some and not for many others. This is something that we need to address. As adults that are involved in scouting, we need to confront these myths right off the bat. The first big myth is that scouting is for boys. No, the Scouting America has a girl program, has had that for many years. And the thing is, all of scouting in the United States is available to females. So we have girls joining Cub Scout packs, we have girls joining girl troops, we have explorers, and we have venturing crews, Sea Scouts. We have all these different divisions. All of them are available to boys and girls. So this is a big myth. It's no longer even referred to as Boy Scouting of America. It is Scouting of America, so it includes everyone. Now this matters because a lot of scouters and the general public think that there's a different program for boys and girls. This is very important to keep in mind. Scouting program is the same. Whether it's a girl troop or a boy troop, they still have senior patrol leaders, they still have the patrol method, they use the exact same worded manuals and literature and everything. There's nothing in scouting that is separate for girls or boys. This is really important to make sure that the general public understands that scouting has a core value that's true for boys and girls. So scouting is no longer considered boy only. So that myth is totally busted, especially today. Scouting is just about tying knots and camping. No, it's not. Outdoor skills are a big part of scouting program, and it's one of the methods we use to help young people really develop as individuals. And not all troops are focused on camping and hiking and canoeing, and so sometimes they mix that up, and sometimes they do it sparingly. They do it once, maybe twice a year. So you have to find a scouting unit that matches your youth. That's the really interesting thing about scouting. Scouting is for all youth and families to get involved in. It is so important that as scout leaders, we need to be there to facilitate that need to get them involved. There are so many youth that never get into scouting. That's usually because there isn't any scouting focus in their area where they live. If there is, we need to make sure that they have that opportunity to really get involved. Additionally, there is a misconception when it comes to family involvement. This is something that scouting is really focusing on, is family, especially with Cub Scouts, especially in Scouts, BSA, when you're dealing with a troop. We need families to be involved too. So when we do recruiting, we need to make sure that the families are included. There's a lot of times when the family thinks that once they join scouting, that's it. They don't have to do anything. They just take them to the meeting and that's it. We want them to be involved. We want them to be part of the pack. We want them to be active with the troop. There's so many things that go on behind the scenes that does not require a huge amount of time. In fact, there's a video on that very subject about how the myth of 1 hour a week. It's a total myth. You get exactly what you put into it. So if you put in more time, that's fine. That's totally okay. But most things don't take more than an hour. That's true for a lot of families. And they need to be able and enabled by us scout leaders to take on small tasks. It is so important to make sure that your families are included, that they are part of your unit, that no matter if it's a pack, a troop, a crew, a ship, whatever it be, they need to be involved. There's always something. Next big myth is that scouting is too expensive. Expense can be interpretive. It depends on the individual. Some people, they want to do scouting, but they just don't have the means. That has been considered by every unit in scouting. We have all kinds of fundraising opportunities for your scout to actually earn the money for scouting. Now, of course, scouting, if you consider all of the youth programs out there, is one of the least expensive. But even that, some people have problems with. There are many units that are running really well and have good people working in that unit. They have scout reach. Ask for it. Make sure that you participate in that fundraising. This is an enormous lesson to our youth, that they shouldn't be completely dependent on parents paying for all of it. They need to be working towards their goal of being in scouting. This is a huge life lesson, and that is a critical skill that they're going to need way into the future. Now, one of the big things is when you're a unit leader, you need to make sure that you have an opportunity for all the scouts to have money in their set aside for their membership and for all the activities that they're doing, the awards that they get. These are very important things, but they need to also think about others in the unit that may not have the opportunities, the finances to be able to really participate fully. And this needs to be one of the focus in the unit, to really look into making sure that everyone is considered when a budget is put forward. This is really important. You want to make sure that outreach is there so that they can participate and not be penalized because of financial situation. It's so scouting to be friendly and courteous and kind. That's part of our law. Okay, so as a scout leader, we need to have those facilities, those opportunities, so that those scouts are not excluded. It's so important that we include everyone. Hey, before we go any further, I want to make sure that you're invited to the Campfire Chat. Now, this is our live meeting we have each month on the first Sunday, starting at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. This is a fantastic way to get involved with live chat, and we have special guests. We have all kinds of neat things that go on. So definitely check that out. I also want to thank all of the Patreon members of this channel. In addition to that, I also want to thank all of the channel members right here on this channel. They have a fantastic group of people on this channel. They get a lot of perks. They get a lot of little icons and all kinds of neat stuff. But definitely check that out. If you're interested in becoming a member, definitely hit the little join button. It'll tell you more information. That's a great way to make this channel even better. Make it a part of what you do. And I'm so proud of you. We're just gonna jump right back in. Next big myth out there is that you have to earn Eagle in order to be successful at scouting. No. More scouts, they don't achieve the highest rank. There's a lot of Cub Scouts who never achieve Arrow of Light. There are a lot of scouts that never get to the level of Eagle Scout. Now, Eagle Scout is something that's very important to me. I've mentored a lot of scouts, so it's critical that you make sure your parents understand that is not the sign of success. The sign of success is first class when you're dealing in a troop. That's important because all of the scout skills are covered and maintained and taught in that achievement of getting to first class. First class, usually within the first year and a half, that's the goal when you get into it. After that, in a troop situation, the youth make the decision to move forward. That's up to the youth. The unit should really focus on getting it to first class, all the scouts, and getting it to that point is very important, and that should be an ongoing thing. What's critical is that once they get to first class, it is totally up to the scout and the scout's family, because the family will help focus that view. If their focus is towards Eagle, go for it. You got a lot of work to get done. So that's an important thing to understand, that to be an Eagle Scout is a great thing, but it's not the absolute pinnacle of everything in scouting. Next big myth is scouting is a religious organization. The truth is that scouting has always been a faith-inclusive community, not exclusive. This is very important. When we say the Scout Oath, we promise on our honor to do our best to God and country. That is part of the Scout Oath. It is critical that faith-based things are included in scouting. We even put it in the Scout Law with being reverent, being respectful of other people's beliefs. So important. Faith is a huge part of it. Now, if you have an opportunity, I'm going to do something that's unusual. I'm going to send you outside the channel. I want you to watch this video right there. That talks about faith, and it much better than I do. So definitely think about that. But scouting is not a religion, okay? It's not a religious program. A lot of churches, synagogues, mosques use scouting as an outreach to their youth. That is true. And that is, it's important that we put faith, the ideas of faith, in the ideas that we teach in scouting, and to have that as part of the program. It's part of our oath. It's part of the law. So this is something that we do in scouting, but it's not the only focus. That is not the primary focus. Primary focus is Scout Oath and Scout Law, but there's a lot more words there. So keep that in mind. Only parents can volunteer. Any adult can volunteer. It doesn't, the status of parental anything does not. There's a lot of scouts that have parents that are involved, whether it's behind the scenes or scout facing. So there's a lot of them, but there are individuals that get involved in scouting. Now, they might not even be in your unit. They might be in the council, or they might be in your district. That's totally fine. And they could even be in your unit. It's if they've gone through the process of doing the application, they've gone through the background checks and everything, there's no problem. You don't have to be a parent in order to guide, mentor scouts. This is something that a lot of people think, I have to be a parent in order to be involved. No, it's not. It's not true. So definitely, if you're in that situation, definitely get involved in scouting. Scouting is a great way to outreach to youth and be there as an example, or to mentor and to lead and to coach these young people that you may not have the opportunity to do. So definitely get involved. Scouting is outdated? No. Scouting has evolved. It has changed over time. And it's necessary. Things that do not change tend to go extinct. We've learned the lesson of the dinosaurs. So it's very important that scouting progresses, that it has changed over time. The one thing that hasn't changed and really doesn't need any additions to or changes to is the Scout Oath and Scout Law. Those remain the same through Cub Scouting all the way through troops and even a crew or even a Sea Scout ship. There's so many different things, but that is always the core value. We do need to push back a little bit on scouting is the past. That's not true. Scouting is your future. That's the one thing we need to make sure that parents, leaders, make sure that they understand this is a progressive thing that can move forward, and we need to make that happen. There's lots of lessons from the past. This is something we need to do. This is something we need to do for our youth. Scouting is not just a youth program. There are scout leaders that have gone through the Cub Scouts and the troop and the crew and so on. That's the thing. You can stay in scouting your entire lifetime. That's a wonderful thing. All that experience helps you move things forward. No point in repeating the past. We need to make sure that we do things for the future of America, to make sure that the young people have those core values that we find so dear in the Scout Oath and Scout Law. That's the real core thing. Scouting is not politically based. It's something that was invented by the government. This was something that was inspired by Baden-Powell and a movement that kind of had its own startup on its own without any governmental intervention or anything. And it's not political. That's one of the things we don't do. We don't do political because that's just scouting. To be courteous and kind to one another, we can't really go that direction. So we're not political. Another big thing is you do not have to know everything about scouting. You don't have to be a former scout in order to be a scout leader. We train all the time, and we have some of the best training there is, and at very low cost. That's the wonderful thing about scouting. There's so many wonderful programs out there, and you know this as a scout leader. You've gone through the training within your unit. You've done the training with the district. You've done training at council. So these are things that we do. We do training a lot to make sure that we're up to speed with the new things that are happening in Scouting America. Now, one of the big things that I would like to make sure that all people on this channel understand, scouting is incredibly important, and it's so important that we need to keep recruiting 24/7. And that is something we should be doing on a regular basis. Dispel these myths. They don't need to be out there. Prohibiting people, those myths prohibit the people from getting involved. We need to get those things taken out so that we can move forward and their youth can move forward and really make scouting a part of their lives. It is such a critical thing that we need to do for our youth. And you do a great job of that. And I'm so proud of you. And definitely keep up that good, hard work. Now, if you'd like more information about trailblazers of recruitment, especially with the youth, check this video out. Until next time, I'll see you on the trail.